Candace. I'm an entrepreneur and a mom, and I love simplicity. I don't know about you, but when I am in a hurry, which is a lot of the time, whether it's working, momming, wearing all of the hats that come with that, being an entrepreneur and a mom, I don't like to fuss. I'm very low maintenance that way. But I do like to feel pulled together. It does make me feel better to have a little bit of makeup on, but I am very simple and natural. And I've always felt a little not really confident with makeup. And I'm not a makeup artist, but I do sell a makeup brand because I found something that really worked for me. And so I figure if it works for me, it can probably work for a lot of other people as well. Other women that sort of feel the same way, maybe lack a little bit of confidence. And so doing this new business venture, adding to my other ones, what that's doing for me is it's really helping me to help you figure it out as well. And so we get to kind of do it together, which is what I love. And so I'm just going to show you today a really basic routine. And what I love about this makeup is it all just goes in one compact, so you don't have to fuss with digging through your makeup drawer, having a big makeup bag and trying to dig through it and find everything. Your whole face can be in here. I've just put some things together that I'm using for today. I actually obviously have more than this because I'm doing it as a business, but I just want to show you how simple it can be. All of our makeup is cream based. I shouldn't say all of our makeup. We do have some things that are powder, but the real premise of Saint Beauty is our 3D foundation. This is what we're famous for. And it is based on using a few different shades to give you a 3D look in your foundation in one layer. So there's no layering on of makeup, and it is cream based, which means that it is going to give you a youthful glow. It is not going to settle into your fine lines and wrinkles because our skin moves throughout the day. And so when we wear powder or liquid foundations or any of those things, they do crease, they will. And the cream really absorbs into your skin and moves with your skin, so it does not crease. The key is finding the right color, the right colors, and that's where I come in. I provide you with a color match of your most perfect colors that are going to work for you. Sometimes I do in person. I'm mostly online right now, of course, and so I'm really happy to do that. And there is a money back guarantee if you don't love it or you get the wrong color and you need to swap it out. So today I'm just using this one compact, and I'm going to use 3 brushes. All of our brushes are dual-ended, by the way, and they're all made to go with cream makeup, so they really work well. And then I'm going to use also our perfector sponge, which is really a really key thing to have as well. And finally, the other thing I'll be showing is just the setting spray, which I also use as a primer. I never used a primer before, or setting spray, before I got into this makeup. Just some of the new things that I've been introduced to. Just like I said, I'm not a makeup guru or expert or anything like that, but that's why I show you. If I can do this, so can you. And so if you love really complicated makeup looks, you love going to Sephora, I'm probably not the person to help you, but this makeup certainly can be glammed up and can be as fancy as you want it to be. And there's great tutorials out there by other artists, and I'm always happy to point you in that direction if you need something that I can't provide. If you start with the makeup and you want to learn something that I don't know how to teach you, I have a wealth of resources to help you with that. So you're never alone in this journey. Okay, so sometimes we need a little bit of color correcting, and in typical other makeup we would be using like a concealer and piling it on, and then we'd be putting our foundation on, and then our blush, or if you were doing contouring, like that's all layer upon layer upon layer. So with this makeup you're going to see that's not the case. The only exception kind of is that the little color correcting does go under as another layer, but it's very minimal because we're only going to put it where we need it. So in our foundation, or in our makeup, we have what we call highlights and contours. So our highlights are actually really a foundation shade. They're foundation level coverage. And I have 3 highlights in my compact here today. This one is called Amber, and it's actually the color that is closest to my skin color at the moment. Although, hopefully with the summer, not that I want to get skin damage, but I wear sunscreen, but I always get a little bit tanned, and then I move up a couple shades. So, and then I have this one here, which is a lighter shade, which is going to be my brightening shade, and you'll see that in a minute. And then I have my contour, which is going to create some natural looking shadows and give me more dimension, and they are all, again, just going to complete my whole look in one layer, which is really kind of cool and fun to watch. So yeah, and then I also have this other highlight shade. This one is several shades darker than my main color, and this one it's called Mango, and we all often call it Magic Mango because it does do a wonder to cover things that we need to cover. And then finally, I have my my blush here. This color is called Desert Sunset. It's really pretty. This is a gloss shade, also a cream. And our blush colors are actually also lip colors, so we call them a lip and cheek. And they can sometimes, depending on the color or gloss level, they could also be used as an eyeshadow in a pinch, which is really cool. And finally, another thing I have in here is an illuminator. So our illuminators, we have cream, like this one here, but we also do, I'm just going to show you here, another example. Our illuminators, we do have some powder varieties as well. Here is one, this is really pretty, it's called Photoshop. But if you have very fine lines and wrinkles, you're going to want to stay away from the powders and just stay with the creams because powders will settle in those fine lines and that won't look good. We don't want to draw attention to that. Again, with this one is called Rose Gold. This is actually one of our solid perfumes. So we have a collection of solid perfumes. We have 4 shades, and they are also an illuminator. So we do have illuminators, cream and powder, and then we have the solid perfumes, which are also an illuminator. And it's really kind of cool. This is awesome for traveling. As soon as we can get back on planes again. By the way, taking this compact, you're not going to have to worry. You're not going to have to check it. You're not going to have to get it confiscated. You can just throw this in your purse. Because everything is a cream, it's solid, so it's not going to be considered a liquid, so that's really cool. And then you don't have to worry if you have would you want to pack some perfume, you don't have to worry about getting a little small bottle or having it break or leak. You can just put it right in your compact with everything else. And so even if you have other perfumes, I just want to point out that that's a little known thing. Not a lot of people know that we have that, and it's kind of cool. And then in my bottom, I've just thrown a few things in here today. I have my bronzer. And I have another illuminator because I like to use these two together. I swirl them for like a bronze look after. This one is called Glow, and our bronzer is called Bella. Again, they are both a cream. And then over here, I've thrown in, I don't typically like to keep powders next to my creams because if this drops and they break, it gets in the cream. But just for the purpose of this video, I've done that. What I would recommend doing is I would custom give you recommendations on the kind of compact that you want to have. We have bigger ones as well, where we have like a triple decker. Now, I don't have a triple decker yet, but it looks like this, but just with one more layer. And so what I would recommend is if you grow your collection, have one layer that's all your powders. Currently, I just have this where I'm keeping, this is like an artist palette, keeping all of my powder items. So I'm keeping all of my eyeshadows and my illuminators. But I would never bring this to travel unless I was working and doing consults, because it's just too much. But it is just something I wanted to have as an artist, because when I am working with somebody or doing a makeover, then I have everything at my disposal, and so that's what I'm doing. But certainly you can change these things out, and they do come with little lids when you buy them. So all of the makeup comes like this in a little tin, and then you just pop the lid off. Everything's magnetic and it just sticks in here. So, but you can certainly just take them like that. And if you have I was just going to show you, but I don't have that one like that right now. But you can just even just pretend this is a lip and cheek. You could open it like this and just go like that and throw on your lip color like that. If you are going somewhere and you don't have to use your finger or a brush. Okay, that was a long preamble. I apologize. Now I'm going to start with Mango, and I feel like my skin isn't too bad today, so I'm just going to pop a little bit. I get a little bit of redness there, and this is mostly just to show you what we do. While that's I like to sometimes pop it on and just let it absorb and warm up with my skin. And then I'm going to just take some of my main color on my finger here, and I like to just put, before I forget, I like to do it at the beginning because otherwise I forget. I'm just going to put some on my eyelids here. As we age, our skin tends to have more colors in it. When we're younger, we're more one color, I would say. And so I have noticed over the last couple of years as I'm getting older, my eyelids are my skin is getting a little see-through and purple in certain areas. And so I just like to kind of really start with a neutral base, because then when I'm using my eyeshadow, whatever color I'm using is actually going to look true to the color, because it's not going to take on that other, going over top of another color, if that makes sense. Also, sometimes when I don't want to wear eyeshadow and I just want a really crisp, natural, clean look, I just like it kind of gives me, just neutralizes everything. Okay, so now that that's kind of warmed up on my skin, I'm just going to take the brush I'm using today and just kind of, you could use your finger too, but I'm just going to kind of buff it in. Our brushes are so amazing. They just, oh my goodness, they are so soft. You're just going to love them. And when I color match you, I send you back a form with all of my recommendations. Things that I would definitely say you need to have in your first order if you're starting out for the first time, and then nice to haves. But one of the things is you always need to have one brush for sure. Even if you have some other good high-end brushes, I mean, you can try it certainly. I'm not just trying to sell you more things, honestly, but I know if you don't have the right brush, you might not be happy. And then you're not going to use your makeup, which is not good. And so these are made to go with the cream makeup. They're designed to not hold the makeup inside the brush. They really push it into the skin and blend it beautifully. So that's what I would recommend. So I always try to recommend one that you can use for the most things at first. And also they're dual-ended, so you are getting kind of two for the price of one, so it's a really good deal. Okay, so the next thing I like to do, the next step, I'm going to start my foundation, and I'm going to start with my contour. Now, what I'm going to show you right now is what we call a cheetah hack. And this is one of my favorite ways to show my beginners how to use the makeup. I like to do this when I'm in a hurry. Well, actually, either way, putting on the makeup is fast. It's just I'm talking, so everything is taking longer at the moment. So the point of contour is to create, we have kind of natural shadows already on our faces. Our faces are three-dimensional, they're not one-dimensional. But when we wear traditional foundation, it can really make us look like we have just one layer, sort of got like a hair in front of my eye. And so the areas that we sort of have a natural shadow are sort of like under the cheekbone, on the forehead, the top of the forehead, and under the jaw here. And so the jaw one is just really to sculpt and give you like, just thin everything out. We can also do our nose. This is totally optional. You don't have to do this step, especially if you're just starting out. But I'm just going to show you anyway. And I also like to just do a little bit under my, oops. You know what? And the great thing is, you can mess up, and it's totally okay. I usually like to use a brush for this part, but I'm really just trying to show you guys like the minimal thing, using minimal brushes and tools and all the things, because I want to show you how simple this can be when you're first starting, okay? And the reason I do start with the contour is just because I'm going to be able to see where everything is going. So then I go to my brightening shade, because it's lighter than my skin tone, it's going to show up, but I'm going to be able to see where else I need to go. So I just like to do a little bit, a few dots in the center of my forehead. I like to do a little bit on my top of my nose. So you'll see I'm kind of doing like the T-zone area. Now, typically people used to go and do a big triangle here under the eye. But what happens is this ends up creasing later because it's just sunken in more. And then, anyway, we don't want to draw attention to that. So the new thing, and I usually like to do this one with a brush as well, but right where we get that sort of crater line, you know what I mean? Starting in the corner of the eye, we're going to just kind of follow that around. And then we're also going to go here. The reason we're doing that is these are dark areas and things. And so where we have the dark circles and all that, darkest part of the face. And so this is going to get, and this is going to lift dark. It's going to give us an eye lift. Okay, so I am almost done my foundation. I'm looking totally weird. That means I'm doing it right. The final step is my actual main foundation color. And you can see, like, I'm not using very much product. So if you were wondering, well, my gosh, like I'm gonna go through these tins, it's gonna be so costly. It's not, trust me. It is going to, depending on if you use this makeup every day, if you use it the right amount and don't overdo it, it's going to last you anywhere from 3 to 6 months probably for your main color. Your contour might last you a year, your brightening shade may last you 9 months, whatever, it just depends. Most people when they're starting out, I'm just going to let this warm up and talk for a minute. They tend to use too much. That's a very, very common. I was one of them as well. It's just we're used to having to put more on. So try to put, like you don't have to cover every inch of your skin when you're doing this method because we are going to be blending it all out, okay? So the reason, again, I did the main color last is because I don't want to layer anything. I don't want to put makeup on top of makeup. So by doing the dark and the light, I'm only putting my main shade where there isn't any makeup already. Okay, so it might seem kind of weird and hard to remember at first, but if you just remember this, you're gonna do like a big 3, starting with the forehead and sort of on or just under the cheekbone, depending on your face shape. On will give you a more sculpted, uplifted look. Right under the jaw, because you don't want to go on top, you want to go right under. Okay, and then your brightening shade is just basically your T-zone, kind of following the crater, giving the eyelash, if you remember those things. And then you're just gonna dot where you kind of see some leftover spots, kind of the beard area, the sides of the nose, the sides of the forehead, maybe one right here and here, kind of like just those spots that we're missing. In fact, I might put one just right here on my nose, just to kind of blend it. It's gonna just, you can just see, I mean, it's crazy, but it's dimensional, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna take my blush and bronzer brush. This is the brush that's most amazing for this method, and you're gonna get so much use out of this if you're for your first order. I would suggest this one because you're going to also use it for blending your blush after. Oh, actually, I'm going to do that right now as well. So you can just blend this all, or you can do it. This one isn't going to show up as much. This isn't my favorite color as a blush, just because on me it doesn't pop as much, but I love it as a lip color. But I was just trying to show you one thing today. It just doesn't show up as good on camera, but it is really pretty. Did I do the other side? Okay. Forgot the other side. All right. So yeah, your blush, just because I want to show you the placement, because it's just, once I blend it, if I try to show you the blush after, we're going to forget where we have everything. So it's just going to sit above the contour, okay? And then, so this is used to blend the whole face, the small end. It's also used just other times just to blend the blush, or to actually apply the blush. And the big fluffy end can be used for extra blending, but also the main reason we have this end is for the bronzer, which you're going to see after. Okay, so I'm just going to start blending this all in. So you can swirl, you can tap. Okay, if you have very wrinkly skin, you're going to want to stay away from the swirling. It's just going to work better to do more of a dab. I kind of do a little bit of both, whatever, just kind of depends on the area I'm going. You can start with the darkest and finish all the dark areas, or the light, like vice versa. I like to start with the light first. That's just my preference. And you are going to touch some of the other colors, and that's okay. It's amazing how this just kind of blends and comes together. Like, it's so cool. And like I said, if you make a mistake, it's no worries, because you can just wipe it away and start again. So you can see how that's just creating that brightness there. Also, afterwards, I am going to blend any excess with this sponge. Okay. You guys, I'm feeling so much better already. I was feeling, it's gloomy out today. I'll just show you here. It's gloomy out today, and it's been kind of rainy the last couple days where I live, and just everything, that time of the month coming. So I think and I am currently going through some life transitions, like preparing for some new and big exciting changes, and so there's just a lot of extra stress, and also just the end of the school year with my daughter, and it's actually the last one ever because she's graduating, which is exciting, but I'm also just so tired. I think part of it's just the pandemic, and I think, well, we all feel that, right? And so just tired of everything. Just need it to be summer, and I don't know. Anyway, but so my whole point in saying that is I wasn't even sure if I was going to do my makeup today. I didn't know if I wanted to do a video because, you know, energy transfers through a screen, and you can just tell when people aren't excited, and I don't ever want to be not genuine, but I also don't want to come on here and have like negative energy. So I'm just being really real with you that I am kind of having a crappy day, but it's not crappy actually. Like, it's neutral, but I just feel more on the down blah side, so nothing horrible. But yeah, so there you go. If you find that you need a little bit more of whatever and a little more contour, if one side is darker or not enough, you can just add more. If you want a little bit more blush to pop, you can certainly do that, okay? So another step is you could line your lips with your contour. I'm not going to bother with that today. I'm just going to take my finger and just throw this on. Now, unfortunately, this video is turning into a really long ramble. So if you go back on my YouTube, or Facebook or Instagram, my IGTVs or anything, you will see some where I've done in real time 5-minute makeup. And legit, you can do this in 5 to 10 minutes, easy. But when I'm teaching about it, explaining it just takes longer. Okay, I'm gonna do my bronzer next, and then I think I will put my bronzer in my Illuminator. Now, you could just stop here, and this would be fine. If you're like, I just want foundation, Candace, okay, fine. I'm gonna talk about my eyebrows in a second too. That is that, okay? You've got your basic foundation and a little blush and a little lip color. You could be good to go. So we can stop there. I personally love the bronzer, so I want to show you that as well. And so this one we just do big swirls because it is not super like we don't want to plop it on. It's not like, it's translucent, it's not like coverage. It is a little bit of coverage, but it's supposed to be more just like an airy, give you like this bronze sun-kissed look. And so where I'm applying it is my neck, just to kind of even out, because necks tend to be really white. And you can go down onto your chest too, just to kind of like wherever you're white, really pale. Unless you are blessed with dark skin and you don't even have to worry about this, or maybe you just want a little extra glow. I mean, you can do that. You can use this glow illuminator, which I'm mixing with it. This would be an illuminator that would be perfect for somebody, a person of color, because it is going to give you that illumination that I'm going to show you in a minute, but it's going to be the right shade for you. It's too dark for me, but it's actually amazing mixed with a bronzer. But I'm a pasty white girl Canadian, so need some help there. Okay, so I'm going to just take my rose gold illuminator here. I would say this is a color that would pretty much go with anybody's skin as well. And I'm not going to bother putting, sometimes I do it in the corner of my eye, but my brightening shade is pop in there. And if you're wondering, because it's a perfume, can you put it close to your eye? I have, and I haven't had any problems. So I think it's fine. It's totally fine. Okay. I'm just going to take a little bit. Now you can just spray your face with this. Any setting spray, you can do that. I like to put it on my sponge instead because it comes out a little forcefully. The point of the sponge is to blend. So I could have blended less if you really want to have more sharp lines, and then just kind of control it more with your perfector sponge. This is what our beauty blender is called, which I would highly recommend getting as well in your first order, because it's, if you already have one, fine, but if you're not happy with it, I would definitely recommend trying ours. It's really awesome. But the main thing about this is, besides the fact that it's setting my makeup right now, blending, is that when you are a beginner, you are going to put too much on. And this is going to correct that. So if you do find that you put, like if you're seeing any texture, if you've been perfectly matched and I've gotten your color right, and you're still seeing texture and you're not happy, you probably have too much makeup on. I can tell you, like, most of my customers have had that issue. And so, and like I said, I did too. And so just doing this, what you do is you take your sponge and you hold it under the tap for a couple minutes. Under running water, you completely soak it all the way through. Then you're gonna wring it all the way out, and then I like to do one more little squeeze inside a towel. And now it's the perfect amount of wet and dry. If it's too wet, it's just gonna take things off, okay? If it's too dry, it's not gonna do what you need it to do. So what it does when it is the perfect dampness is that it will, if you've put too much on, it's going to take any excess away, and any area that needs to actually still go into your skin, it's going to push in and blend, and it's going to take off what you don't need. It just works like magic. That's what it's called, perfector. So next I have this line brush. I'm just going to quickly brush my brows. I'm not an eyebrow expert, you guys. I would love to get something done with them. Excuse me. My daughter's really good at it. She did my brows the other day and they looked really awesome. So I just like to do this really quick sometimes. So what I'm doing is I'm just landmarking. I'm going here, here, and I'm basically just going to kind of connect the dots. I just realized the color I'm using today is quite dark. I'm using the color indigo for my contour, which is my favorite contour. I can wear a few different shades. It's a little bit dark for my eyebrows, but so I have tons of other contours because, of course, like I sell the makeup, and so I have, even if I was just a customer, I would probably have at least 2 or 3 shades, because sometimes you just want a different look. Sometimes you want like a cooler look depending on like your clothes or whatnot. and sometimes you want a warmer look. This color indigo, unless you're like the palest shade ever, it actually looks good on pretty much everybody. So it's one of those really versatile contour colors. And it's beautiful because it's warm. Like, it's just, I know it looks super scary, but I also really need to order more. So that's going on my next order. Because I don't want to run out of it, because it's my favorite. Okay. Now, if I want to take that next step, I can just take the other end again and spray it with my setting spray. We do have a brow wax. You can skip this. You can just use the setting spray. You just want to wet the spoolie with water or your setting spray, and then you just dig it into the wax, which is also just in a little tin here. And then it just sets your brows. Okay. I just got setting spray all over my compacts, but that's okay. Now I'm going to just do a really basic eyeshadow look today. So I'm going to be using these two colors, Mama and Lullaby. They are both just a matte shade. They are boring. They're not exciting. I shouldn't say they're boring. They're beautiful, but they're not going to probably do much on camera here. The reason I chose these is just my jacket here. I really want to just show, if you are heading out to work, to the office or whatever, that this is a really quick, which again, you just have to minus the talking, but I think you can see like how, so you could just do this and leave it. I just wanted to show you something really, especially if you're scared of color, that you can use something that is a color, but it's a neutral. So if you love pinks, which pinks are another color that looks good on, I would say, almost everybody. And these ones, it's kind of like my jacket. It's just like, it's not a bright pink, right? It's like neutrally. So I could just leave it at that. But I'm going to use this other color called Lullaby. This is a really pretty color. It's kind of a cross between a purple and a pink. I will switch. Actually, I'm going to switch to the small end now and just show you something. So what you can do here is just do basically like an outside V. And I should have mentioned, okay, so this is the shadow brush. This is the best brush to use if you're a beginner. This fluffy end, you're just going to take it, and usually I do like a crease color, and then I do like a shimmer on my lid, and then I do another matte darker color on the outside corner and outside crease and under my eye. But I just wanted to use two shades today to really keep that simple. So that's what I'm doing. So I just kind of wanted to get Mama, the lighter color, all over. And I do my crease and everything, like this part, with my eye open because I have a hooded eye. So that's just a tip for you. Otherwise, it'll disappear and I won't see it. So I'm just going to kind of go here and do a bit of a sideways V. And you could use the other end too. I'm just trying to get a little bit more precision there. Do the other one as well. So this small end can kind of act like a liner brush. I don't wear eyeliner. If you do, you could add that after, but I am not an eyeliner fan for myself, partly because I'm not good at it. But what I've found is it can just look too severe on me. Everybody's different. Personality, sometimes even just your personality has something to do with it. I don't know what I'm saying, but what I like is that, but I like the pop of it a little bit. So, but I just like it. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't like severe. Some people look really good with a really bold eye, but for me, especially for an everyday like office look, it would feel like too much. Now, I would do up more if I was doing like an evening out with like a smoky eye or something, because you know I have so many occasions like that. Not. So I'm just going halfway, so I stop at my pupil. So that's another tip. If you go all the way, it's going to make your eyes look smaller, and as we get older, our eyes get smaller. We want to make them look bigger, so there's different tips and tricks you can use. So I'm just going to flip back over to the fluffy end for a minute, and I'm just gonna swirl kind of at the outer corner and kind of up a bit, just so that when my eyes open, you can see it. You can see that makes a little bit of a difference. And you know what? This is just making me feel better already. I could just feel like, I don't know, half the same stresses, worries, problems, but somehow when your makeup looks good, you feel like you can sort of tackle things, right? So can also just use this one to go under the eye, but I just wanted to get a little bit more precise today. Okay, now, going back to what's in your compact. If I wanted to just add a little bit of sheen, I could even go back to my Illuminator here, and I could just pop a little bit right in the corner here. Okay. You could also use, alternatively, if you only had one eyeshadow color, or if you had none and you're just starting out but you wanted the foundation and bronzer and all of that, this bronzer works amazing as an eye color. It looks great in the outer corners and under the eye. You could use your Illuminator as your eyeshadow. You could use your lip and cheek as your other part of your eyeshadow. So not to worry. I mean, if you can use your other eyeshadows, whatever. But you can totally like make what you have work and then keep building on as you want to get more things. And sometimes for me, I have all these eyeshadows and I still just love to use a lip and cheek color or my bronzer, just really quick and easy, not having to pick anything out. Sometimes we just need to not have to make more decisions, right? So that's sort of the finished look. I might carry this out a little bit more over here. Okay. So that's it. So that's just really simple and basic, and it makes me feel fresh and put together. And so if you have any questions, please message me, and you can find all of the information in my link tree, where I have all my relevant links, which I will post here, my link tree. And if this is in Instagram, I'm just making a video, so I don't know where it's going to land yet, but actually it won't be Instagram because it's too long now. But anyways, in my link tree, I have all of my relevant links for my social media accounts and for my color match form, and to shop with me. If you would like to sign up and become like a direct salesperson for Saint Beauty, you can do that as well, and I can walk you through that. So I have a form to fill out if you're interested in that, and I can just help you, and there's no pressure, but just if you need some more information, then I know how I can help you and get back to you. So that is it. That is all. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't be afraid to reach out with any questions. I know there's so much apprehension out there with direct sales with companies, and I feel ya, because I actually get the messages too. I get the cold messages in my DMs about weight loss and all the things, and honestly, it's such a turn off. And so I have never been, I've worked in sales, direct sales, I've worked in furniture sales, I've worked in window covering sales, and I'm actually really not a salesperson, so I don't know how I keep ending up in these sales roles, but I think it's because I genuinely love to help people and be creative, and so that often just ties together. And so, and quite frankly, we're all selling something if we have a business of any kind. If you have a service, you're still selling something. So I just want to put that out there because I just want you to know that I will never go after you. I only want happy clients, and so I only want you to get the makeup if you really want the makeup. If you are skeptical, if you are critical, if you do not, if there's things that you just think you would hate about, then don't, just go somewhere else or get a different, wear the kind you love. Anyway, that's a lot of rambling. Just to say, I will only be here to just help you and answer your questions, and if you need help setting up a cart or an account, like if you're not tech savvy and you need some help to get started, I'm like so happy to help you with that, because I work in digital marketing, so I'm comfortable doing all of that, and I don't mind it at all. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.